class, if you try to recall, we are at this stage to estimate the HAT. Okay, so for estimation of the HAT means the incident solar energy at the tilted plate when we are considering the atmospheric condition. And we have seen that for finding out the HAT, basically we need the KT, because all the other parameters we can easily define or easily find. The phi, n and beta, this is the latitude angle, n is the day number, and beta is the tilt angle. And from this information we can easily find the H naught and H naught T. And when we got this H naught and H naught T, we can find the RD. Okay, and after that we can also estimate the RT. No, so before estimating this RT, we need this equation. Okay, if you try to recall, for finding out this RT, we need this equation, and in this equation we have the atmospheric condition. So the energy with atmospheric condition that we need. So for getting the energy on this thing, that is your HAT can be defined by this KT. That means RD KT into H naught. So KT is still unknown, and I told you and we have discussed that KT is very much undeterministic, and it can be estimated, or it can be measured from the previous year or the statistical data, or we can take the help of this function of this latitude and the day number. So it is the thing, that means now we have to got this KT, because other parameter we can easily determine. So for finding out the KT, because without finding out the KT we cannot reach to this HAT. So now for this KT, what we have seen, we have got the way of estimate this clearness index. The clearness index KT is nothing but the ratio of daily energy incident on horizontal flat plate with flat plate collector with atmospheric effect, with the atmosphere, and divided by the daily energy incident on horizontal flat plate collector without atmospheric effect. So this is the ratio. Now the thing is that here the one is the denominator is without atmosphere and the numerator is with atmosphere. Now this is equal to the daily incident energy horizontal flat plate with atmosphere. We have been using the symbol HA, and for this thing, that means without atmosphere we are using the symbol H naught. Now H naught can be computed. It is determinable by means of a closed form solution, and all this needs is input like the latitude, the locality of the locality, and you can accurately compute it using 3D geometry with reasonable good accuracy. So we have already find the value of H naught earlier. However, HA is the energy with atmospheric effect, and that is difficult to calculate, but we can measure it. So if we measure HA and calculate H naught, and we get the accurate current value of KT at any event place. That means we are trying to measure the value of HA, and we are calculating the value of H naught. So if we can do that, then we can easily find the value of KT of any given place. Now, how do we do that to measure this KT? First, what we do, we will try to place, you see, we will try to place one pyranometer at the place of interest. Now, what is this pyranometer? Pyranometer is an instrument that can measure the insolation. So it is used in it is used in solar based experiments, and then it is based on the thermal principles. It is thermal coil, and means of the Seebeck effect, it converts the incident radiation to electric voltage value, and the voltage value gives us the measure of incident insolation. Are you getting my point? So basically it is a transducer, and we can convert the insolation, that means it can capture the insolation and it will convert the insolation to equivalent voltages. So there may be some lookup table, and from that lookup table we can ascertain what is the equivalent insulation for a particular voltage. Okay. Now this is the instrument. Now see this. This is a pyranometer, which gives an idea what it is, and we will understand what we mean by this pyranometer. So now see this equipment. You can see a glass bulb. So this is a glass bulb on top and inside, and if we can see clearly some black portion is there inside this glass bulb, and this is called the thermopile. Now the radiation falls on this thermopile and heats up the thermopile and becomes the hotspot, and the pyranometer body is cold junction, and there will be a temperature gradient between the hot junction and the cold junction, and it will give the voltage output or thermoelectric EMF based on the Seebeck effect. So you just go through once that what is Seebeck effect, you will see how this transducer is working. That means the pyranometer is working. Now through this, so we have some wire, so we can connect the wire through this instrument, and we can able to measure the voltage by using the voltmeter. Now you see, you can see the plate. So this is the name plate or the specification plate, where 0 volt gives us the 0 watt per meter square, and 10 volt gives us the 2000 watt per meter square. So this is the lookup table for this pyranometer. And now you can see that per square meter, and the output, if it is 10 volt, it is gives us 2000 watt per square meter. Of course, the insulation from the sun will not exceed mainly up to 1000 watt per meter square or per square meter. So we will get the at most 5 volt. So it is given as 10 volt. So we will get at most 5 volt from these terminals. So now if you look at the side, so you can see some green portion is there. So you can see this is the green portion, and you can see here this spot, green spot is there, and it is basically used for labeling of the pyranometer. That means in what surface it is placed, whether it is level surface or it is on some inclined surface, that we are measuring or that we are ascertaining by using this label by this green liquid or this green part of the pyranometer. You can, or we can position it horizontally at a place and then allow it to measure the radiation, and it will gives us the output in voltage, which is in the direct measure of the insulation, and the unit are in given in watt per meter square. The pyranometer is mainly, this is an expensive device, so we have to handle it very carefully. So this parameter mainly is there to measure the insulation of any surface. So now after placing place this pyranometer gives the measure of the insulation in watt per meter square, measure the entire voltage, now measure the insulation of the watt per meter square, measure the entire day. Now we can measure for the entire day and integrate the value, and you will get the HA in meter per square per you will get the HA in meters per square meter. You will get the watt per square meter per day. So this would mean you would get the HA for the day number n, isn't it? For which particular day we are placing, for that particular day we will get the value of HA. We can also do that for the any other day of the year. You will get the statistical history based on which you will get the idea of the climatic condition and the atmospheric absorption during the various time of the year and the various times of the year and the various years. So we can find by using the pyranometer, we can find the value of the insolation for any particular day, and as well as we can also, if we integrate with respect to time or in terms of time, we will get the what we will get? We will get the energy for a particular day. Okay. So next we have to compute the H naught value. We know how to do this, how to find out this H naught. If we have the latitude and day number, we can compute the H naught, this H naught. After that, we take the ratio of HA to H naught, and this will gives us the value of KT. So this clearness index value, it is for a particular or the specific value of HA. If HA has been computed for a particular day number, KT value is valid for that particular day number. Okay, for whatever particular day we are finding the HA, this KT is valid for that particular day only. We cannot estimate for any other day the value of HA for any other value of KT for any other particular day by taking the HA of another day. Okay. So if we want to have the KT which takes into account the historical data, the HA itself can take into account the statistical mean of all the HA values of previous years too. Then you will get the KT value which has the very better representation of climatic and the atmospheric effect. Now if we move to the next slide, now we have to find the value of this KT. So KT can be we have seen that it can be estimated from the, or it can be found by using the pyranometer. Now here another condition what we are going to discuss, that means this gives us the curve fitting for the clearness index. Generally, measurement of the clearness index, what we can do for a particular place on a particular day, as we saw before by measuring the HA. However, if you want to find the clearness index of the place for which the measurement has not been done, and in such a case, how do we go about for finding the clearness index? That means, say, if you have the no data for some clearness index of, say, for the Pundibari, but you have the clearness index of, say, Kacharimore, Cooch Behar. Okay, so you all of you know the Kacharimore or the DM office of the Cooch Behar. So how can we estimate the clearness index for the exact location? Say we are finding the want to find the clearness index at the Faculty of Technology, Uttar Bangla Krishi Vishwavidyalaya, Pundibari. So this can be done by using this curve fitting tool. So now we are going to discuss how to find this thing. So curve fitting is a very nice solution. Here, even if we have the measured data of few latitude, we can make a curve fit model such that for any given latitude in the neighbor of the place where measurements have been carried out, we can find the clearness index using the curve fit model. So that is what we attempt to do. We, let us say, have the data collected for few of the latitude in different parts of the country, and we will try to make the curve fit model. A Fourier curve fit model to gives us the clearness index estimate equation. So basically we are using the Fourier curve fit model. So if I using this Fourier curve fit model, we are try to find the estimate the clearness index for a particular location. Then we can find the clearness index for any latitude or any place neighbor to the place where we have measured the data available. So here you can see, now find the clearness index. Let us first propose a model. So here you can see KT is given by KT estimate. So this KT is the KT estimate, and this is the KT estimate equation which we need to formulate now plus the error. That means we have to find the KT. Okay. So for finding the KT, so we have tried to estimate the KTE. So when you try to estimate the estimate this clearness index estimate, that means this is a kind of estimate, so it may comprises of the sum of error. So we have to take consideration of that error. So this is called the KT estimate equation, which we need to formulate now, plus some error part is there. So of course, when we do an estimate, there will be an error, and therefore KT actually deviating from the estimate equation. So now KT is deviating from the estimate equation and from this actual measured value of KT by some error. So let us see what is the best KT estimate that we can arrive, which will gives us the minimum error. So we have to minimize the error. If the error becomes very minimum, so we can say your KT estimate is equal to your KT actual. So one important characteristics of the clearness index is that it is periodic. So it has the periodic interval of 365 days, and therefore we could use the Fourier series fit for with this tau. So tau is the mainly it is the angle or that is given in radian, and tau is the period what is given by 2 pi n by 365, where n is varying from day number, that is 1 to 365. This is called the angle of Fourier series. Fundamental angle can be represented in a fraction. So this would give a yearly period. So this is give a yearly period, and we are okay with using this Fourier curve fit model. Now let us choose this particular KT at some function, that is the function of x, and the function of x is like that, where we are getting a1 plus a2 sin tau plus a3 cos tau plus a4 sin 2 tau plus a5 cos 2 tau, and so on, where a1 is called the DC offset. So if you try to recall the Fourier series, where I think you have studied in your mathematics, so you can go through this Fourier series model or Fourier series, and Fourier one is the Fourier transform, and is called the Fourier series. So this in with the starting of the Fourier series, we have some DC offset. So this a1 is called the DC offset, and accordingly we have to talk about the harmonic. So this is the fundamental component sin tau cos tau, and this is the first harmonic component. Now, so this is the Fourier series curve fit model, and we can use which are having the fundamental and harmonic of the fundamental. And now what is the value of this x? So x is given x. What is given of x? This is the function of x, means x is given in terms of contain the coefficient parameter. And how to find this coefficient parameter? So this ai is given in terms of ai1, ai2x plus ai3x square, so on. So x itself is a function of many things. So what are the many things? So phi means the latitude, W means your water vapor, and beta means your tail tangent, and we can consider the other parameter also. So now here, so our job is now to find out this AI. So how to find out this AI? So what are these coefficient values, and each coefficient values is split into the function of x of this polynomial form, and these x are the function of latitude, water vapor, beta, tilt angle, and so forth, and so on and so forth. So this is a model that can be used to curve fit and get an estimate equation for the clearness index of KT estimate. So if we got all this value, we can finally reach this KT estimate. Now let us how we go about for getting a curve fit model for this clearness index. So now we will use this simplistic model to understand how we go about obtaining the model, and we will see the more accurate model using data collected from 12 cities from or within the country. Now if we go for the next slide, now we can see go through a demonstration example And let us take a very simple curve fit. So in this case, the estimate equation is given in terms of a1 plus a2 sin tau plus a3 cos tau. Okay. And here this is the curve fit model, and later we will try to expand it and extend it to much more accurate and more exact model, and we will see how we obtain the estimate equation for clearness index. So now let us say this KT estimate is the estimate clearness index. So this is the estimate clearness index based on the estimate equation which is given by this equation, that is your a1 plus a2 sin tau plus a3 cos tau. So this is a very simple equation. So we have just taken the fundamental harmonic. Fundamental harmonic means, you see here only we have taken the sin tau. We are not taken 2 tau, 3 tau, 4 tau, something like that. And tau is given by 2 pi n by 365, where n is the number of days. It starts from 1 and it will be extended up to 365. And we will look at this more when we are considering the exact model. Now our job is to find out what is this coefficient. So we have to find out these coefficients, and these coefficients themselves are these of this a1 I1 plus a I2 x, where ax is just a simple, here we are considering ax is just a simple latitude, because x can be anything. It can be the latitude, it can be the water vapor content, it can be the tilt angle, whatever it may be, or so on. But because we are considering all the try to consider all the atmospheric condition, but in our example we are just trying to find out a simple example, and in this simple example we are only finding out x is a component, x is a function of only the latitude. And we taken the coefficient as a1 I1 a I2 x. So this KT equation can be written as using this form of format into this coefficient here. We will now get this. We will get this KT equal to a11, a12x, then a21, a22x, then a31, a32x cos tau. So we have three terms. One is your simply a1, so we are finding it out. A1 is the coefficient, and what is your a1? So we have to put 1 over here, so it will be 1 1 1 2x, and for this a2 it will be your a2 21 22x sin tau, and a3 is your a31 32x cos tau. Now we have to find out the error. So error is given by your, in the previous slide we have seen error is given by your KT minus KTE. So KT minus KTE means here we are getting this error. So now this is the thing. So we are trying to find out this error, and we are trying to find out the error square. So error square means if we take the square of this E, then we are getting the error square. This error square we have to get the error square that should be minimum. And this is the very important term. If we try to find out the error square, this is called the square of that error, and it is called the minimum square error. So we will try to find out the for finding out the, or for to minimize this error square, we have to differentiate the j, that means the summation of ei square with respect to the different coefficient. Where how many coefficients are there? We have the coefficients of 6 coefficients: a11, a12, a21, a22, a31, a32. So these are the 6 coefficients. So we can take these 6 coefficients, and we have to take the differentiation of this j. J is mainly the square of the error between this and this. So our aim is to minimize the square, and we are taking a particular term square error, and this we have to minimize the minimum square error. And for that, getting the minimization, we have to differentiate the j with respect to the terms of the coefficient, that is a12 to a32, 11, 12, 21, 22, 31, and 32 individually. And that's why when we will equate all these things equal to 0, because we have to get the minimum one for getting the minimum of this error. So we will have the 6 equation we have the 6 unknown, and later if we simultaneously solve that out, we will get the values of all the unknown coefficient, that is your a11, a12, a31, a21, a22, a31, a32, and so on. Now if we proceed, so we will see that this is the thing. Now we have to estimate the equation here, and we have the j, the function of the function is to minimize j is equal to summation of kt minus kte I square. So kte, that means this is the thing. So j equal to this one ei square, and that is given by kt minus kte I square. That is, this is to, we have to minimize or least square error to obtain the best estimate kte. Now this is the thing, that means this is the error square, so that we get the minimum square error and the least square error. So we have to differentiate, that means we have to make the del j del a1 is nothing but, if we take the differentiation of that, so what we will get? We will get the minus 2 if you take the differentiation, so you will get this thing. This will be your this is the minus summation of I, and it will be kt minus kte within bracket and I, and it will be 0. So this is the thing, that is the del j del a11. So and this is set equal to 0. So it is, we have to, it is a minimization problem, so we have to make it 0. So now we will do it for other parameter term like del j del 12 del j by del a12. Similarly, your we will get this thing for del j for del 21, del j by del 22, del j by del a31, del j by del a32, and for all this case we have to make it 0. So likewise, so now you can see for the second term, what is the second term? Second term means we have the x. So that's why it is coming with xi. For the third term, we have the sin tau. So that's why it is come with sin tau y. And the fourth term, we have the term of xi sin tau y. So that's why we are getting the xi sin tau y. And for the next condition, we are getting the cos tau y, isn't it? It is the cos tau y, and for the last case it will get the xi cos tau y. So we are getting the sixth equation, and we are making all the individual equation equal to 0. So if we make this all individual equation equal to 0, then we can get the 6 unknowns, and we are getting the 6 equations. So we can able to measure, and we can able to calculate the unknown coefficient, that is a11, a12, a21, a22, a31, a32. Now what we are doing, we are trying to rearrange. Now for the first case, that means what we got? We got this one. So this is the first case, that means the del j by del a11. So now this is the thing, means here we are getting the kt minus kte. So if you take the right hand side, so kt equal to ktei. So ktei means your this one. So if we put all this value, and if we try to rearrange it, so we will get a11, this is the first coefficient, and then we are getting summation of 1, a12, then we are getting the xi, then a21 we are getting the sin tau y, then a22 we are getting the xi sin tau y, then a31 we are getting the cos tau y, a32 we are getting the xi cos tau y, and all these things should be equal to summation of kti. So in this way we can rearrange it. So this is the first equation. What we are getting after rearranging, accordingly we can rearrange the other equation. For the next equation, what we can see, we are getting the a12x, isn't it? So we have to multiply with x for the next one. So it will be, you can see here we are getting xi square, xi sin tau y, xi square sin tau y, xi cos tau y, xi square cos tau y, and here we are getting the xi kti. So now in this case, accordingly we can get the third term. Here the third term was, you see, it is the A21 sine tau y. So if we take the A21 sine tau y, so we are getting the A11 summation of sine tau y. So in this case, it will be your xi sine tau y. In this case, it will be your sine tau y square. Here it will be your xi sine tau y was there. So it have to multiply with sine tau y. So it will be sine square tau y. A31 xi sine tau y cos tau y, and here it will be xi cos tau y sin tau y, and the right hand side it will be kti sin tau y. So in this way, if we go on, so we will getting the 6 number of equations. Okay, so now if we try to put all these equations in this matrix form, so we are getting this one. So now in the in this equation, now you can see in the right hand side all we have kti, summation of kti, xi kti, then we have the summation of kti sin tau y, then we have the another term, that is the what was the fourth term? Fourth term is your xi sin tau y, so it will be the fourth term. So accordingly we will get, this was the thing what we are getting in the right hand side of this matrix, and we have the unknown parameter that was given by your A12, A1, A12, A21, A22, A31, A32. So this is the matrix representation. We have the six set of equation represented in the matrix. The matrix which is shown in blank, it contains the coefficient this equation like this xi. So what it will consider, we have the xi, we have the xi sin tau y from the left hand side. So it will be xi, it will be your xi sin tau y, something like that. So all these coefficient will be there, cos tau y or so on, or summation of sin tau y. So one and all these things will be populated here, and these values can be calculated. And here this particular column vector you can get calculated because of we know the kti, xi and sin tau y, and the only set of unknown will be this column vector, that is your a11, a12, a21, a22, a31 and a32, and we have the 6 unknowns and the 6 equations, so we can easily calculate this unknown coefficient. Now we have to look into the input data. So what was our input data? Now in this input data, this is needed because we need to know what are these values, what are this kti. So we have to find out the kti, what is this xi, isn't it? What is this sin tau y, what is this cos tau y, and what are these the various elements of the coefficient array. So we have to find out all this coefficient array, because without finding this thing we cannot get the right hand side column vector. So normally we have to get the set of input data. What are the set of input data we are getting? We are getting the latitude. You can see we can get the latitude. We can get the but that is the day number. We can get the these two things we are getting. So we are getting the latitude, we are getting the day number, we are getting the HA, that means the incident energy with atmospheric condition by using the pyranometer, that is measuring the insolation. So these values we are getting or obtaining from the external source, and this measured data now it is possible to get the other unknown parameters. So we represent this number of data more and better. We have the phi, that is the latitude, we need the day number, we need the if we get this phi and n, so we can easily find the h naught. H naught means daily incident energy on a flat plate collector without considering the atmospheric condition. And we can easily find the kt. Kt means the clearness index. How to get the clearness index? We have seen earlier, if we find the HA value, if you know the H naught value, we can easily find the KT. And we need the tau, x, sin tau, cos tau. These are the values which we need if we have to compute this matrix. And this matrix and phi is something given input n, also given input H naught. is computed based on the phi and n, and HA is measured using pyranometer, which we have already discussed, and KT is computed using HA and H naught. Tau is computed using n, because we have seen tau equal to 2 pi n by 365, and A is the condition what we are taking, that is the latitude of the and other atmospheric parameter, like likewise we can easily find the sin tau, cos tau, as we can compute it. Once we have all these values, now we can solve. What we can solve? We can solve this A11, A12, A21, A22, A31, A32. Now, this is the one-time computation. We are not doing the dynamically every time. This we compute it one time using the set of data that we have measured for anybody, and using that what we have got from this external source, and what we arrived that the coefficient values what we get by into this clearness index estimation. Now we have the clearness estimate equation that can be written as A11 equation, and this equation can be given by, what was our equation? This equation is given by this KT equal to A11, A12x, A21, A22x plus sin tau plus A31, A32x cos tau. So this equation we have already assumed earlier. If you try to go to the previous slide, you can see this is the equation. This is the KTE A11, A12x, A21, A22x sin tau, A31, A32x cos tau. So we will get this equation over there. Now this is the estimate equation. Now if we put all these value and put in a script file in a program of a MATLAB or the Octave, then we can easily find the clearness index at any latitude by substituting it with the x and then computing the values through the estimate equation and latitude value, that we use it not be one of the switch measurement data, but has to made it available. It could be any other latitude. So within the neighborhood of this locality, we can use this curve fit model. Neighborhood of this locality, we can put this curve fit model, and we can get a very good estimate. Now, if we go back and look, look into the steps what we have seen earlier for finding out this HAT, this is the ultimate what we want. That means we have to find the HAT. Okay. So the incident energy on flat plate collector at any given place with atmospheric effect HAT. So we saw that we need to have the latitude, that is your phi, we need the tilt angle, we need to get the estimate of H naught, and we can also estimate the other values. We can also estimate the H naught T. Estimation of KT was deferred because we have no other this parameter at that time. But now we got this mapped value from this curve fit equation, and now we can easily find the value of KT for any other given latitude and the day number. We will use this type of equation, a curve fit equation, and this is mainly called the Fourier curve fit equation. Then we can find the value of RD. RD means your H naught T by H naught, and we can easily calculate the value of RT, and finally we can got the value of HAT equal to R naught RT KT into H naught. Now in this case you can see that now we discuss this is a particular example for a model for India. Here we are considering the 12 cities and towns and various parts of the country. So this model goes like this. This is the estimate equation what we are taking. KT is the A1 plus A2 sin tau, A3 so sin 2 tau, A4 sin 3 tau, A5 cos tau, A6 cos 2 tau, A7 cos 3 tau. So now here we are considering the first harmonic, second harmonic, and similarly so this is the first harmonic 2 tau and second harmonic for 3 tau. So we can get this thing, and accordingly we can got the fourth harmonic. This is the first harmonic, second harmonic, third harmonic is your A5 cos A5, and this is the 6th harmonic, and this is the 7th harmonic. And now this model framework and this Fourier series curve, this is the Fourier series curve fit model, where we are assuming that tau equal to 2 pi not n by 365. Instead of that, we are taking it is 2 pi n minus 80 by 365, and this gives the much better lower mean square error. Okay, for that, this is the mainly a trial and errors method. That means this is not a exact classical equation, and by using the trial and error we can get the this type of equation or this type of estimation, and this gives us the lower mean square error. And where AI is what? AI is the coefficients, and it is given in the form of AI1, AI2x, AI3x square, AI4w, and AI5w square. What is W? W is called the water vapor content. Here we are considering another term, that is your water vapor, because earlier only we have considered the we have considered the latitude. That latitude is given by x. Now with this latitude we are now considering another thing, that is the water vapor content, and this water vapor content is expressed in terms of W. And water vapor content of the locality, and we have included that into the effect of the coefficient component of AI. What is x? X is the latitude in latitude degree minus, here we are considering another thing, that is the 5 minus 35 degrees. So this set of definition gives a very good accuracy of the estimated clearness index. Now how to get this water vapor content? Of course, one can measure the water vapor content by looking into the meteorological data and obtain it from them. But again, this is a tough thing to do. We need to go have it integrated into the model, because we have to include this water vapor content, what we have assumed in this case. And therefore, again, like the clearness index, we have make a sub Fourier series. Now you can see another sub Fourier series what we have considered, and in the sub Fourier series we can estimate the W. And what is this sub Fourier series? This is given in terms of G1 plus G2 sin tau, G3 sin 2 tau, G4 sin 3 tau, G5 cos tau, G6 cos 2 tau, and G7 cos 3 tau. Where GI, what is the GI? GI is given as GI1, GI2x, this is the coefficient, and GI3 x square. And what is x? X is known as, what is x? X is known as the latitude angle. Okay, so this gives us the entire model. So at first what we have to do, we have to, for a given latitude, we have to estimate this portion of the water vapor content, because we need to know the latitude and the day number. Because by using the day number, we can find the tau. From the latitude, we can find the, what we can find? We can find the value of this one, that is your coefficient. So then water vapor content can be estimated from the estimate equation. Then this can be plugged into here to define the AI. So if we got all this value, then we can plug into this equation and we can get the value of AI. So when we are getting the clearness AI and we can plug into this equation, we can get the estimate of this clearness index. This is the estimate of the clearness index by plugging into there. So this is the model that we have used to find the clearness index at any place of the within the country. So this is a very much estimate. This is not an actual value what we are getting. So this is a reasonable estimate, and it can be accurate, and it can vary within 10 to 15% what we are getting actually, and it can be taken into consideration, and it is a sufficiently good result, because we are anyway being conservative and we are designing a photovoltaic panel. So this model we can put into a script file, we can put into a similar. So we can put in the script file, we can use the Octave that I have shared you. I have told you earlier how to use the Octave or the MATLAB. Octave is the substitute of MATLAB, and we can use the Octave for any coding of this, or we can get the automated output for this, all this data what we need. That means we can need the value of KTE, because the very base of the equation, what we have assumed earlier, you see, that is done by minimizing the error, isn't it? So we are minimizing the error. That means your KTE should be nearly equal to the actual value of this clearness index. So based on this, we can estimate the clearness index. So when we are estimating the clearness index, so that estimate can be put into the equation, and we can easily find the value of HAT. So this is our ultimate aim, to find out the what? Find out the this daily incident energy on a flat plate. It is a tilted condition with the atmospheric effect we are considering. Okay, so this is the thing what we have discussed. So I am concluding the class over here. Next day we will try to get this topic, sizing of the PV for application without batteries. So this is the next topic. We'll go and discuss in detail in the next class. So if you have any confusion, any query, you can ask, so we can discuss it.